Hi, I'm Elisa Zhang, and I'm a physician and life coach, here to bring you more information. So this is a continuation about syndications. And so people will ask, like, why would I want to invest in a syndication? And there are many reasons. So it might be that you just want to invest in real estate, but you really don't want to be a landlord. You don't want the hassle of, tenants calling you. And, people will argue, well, you can just get a property manager, so you don't have to deal with that. But let's just say, you just don't want to be that hands-on. Well, a syndication investment is a way to get into real estate without having, direct issue with any kind of tenant situation. So that might be one reason why you want to invest. It's just that you want to invest in real estate. By investing in real estate, you can get more diversification as well. And so diversification kind of works in multiple ways when investing in syndications. Maybe you are an active real estate investor, but you prefer to just actively invest in your home area, and you don't want to necessarily invest in other areas. But in order to diversify your real estate portfolio, you could invest in syndications that are investing in different states and different markets. And there are different cities that where the economy may be better in one city versus in another. And so that helps you get that diversification as well. You can also diversify in different kind of real estate investments. So there's all sorts of different investments that syndications may invest in. So it may be a large multifamily apartment. It may be a large commercial building. It may be development. It may be, building any of these things. It may be like a big mall, shopping center complex. It may be, light industrial. It may be hotels. Like there are so many different types of real estate and types of businesses in real estate where you can really get a lot of different diversification by investing in different syndications. And another reason is just, you may want to invest in real estate, but you live in an area that's really high cost of living. And so this would allow you to kind of, in a hands-off way, invest in other areas, or you're living in a state that's very tenant family friendly and not landlord friendly. And while, you certainly could buy direct ownership of real estate in a market that you don't live in, syndications does give you an option to invest in different markets as well. Other reasons is that like you just don't care to spend all the time looking for really great deals. So with a syndication, you do have to kind of vet what you're investing in. But once you do that initial legwork, it's really just send the money to invest, and then you're kind of hands off. So those are a lot of reasons to invest in syndications. So what are reasons maybe not to invest in syndications? Well, with a direct real estate ownership, you have a lot more control. With a syndication, once you send in the money and buy your shares, you really have no control of what happens. So the people running the deal are going to run the deal. And so that's why when you invest in the syndication, you want to really vet the sponsor, like who is handling the deal makes a huge difference. You could have an amazing deal that someone who's incompetent can completely destroy and lose money on, or you could have like a mediocre deal that someone who's really savvy at real estate investing could actually turn a great profit on. So who you invest, the sponsor of the syndication, is probably the most important component of when you're investing in a syndication. You also, while it is investing in real estate, really you're kind of investing in a business. So you don't necessarily get the same kind of tax write-offs as you could get with direct ownership, especially if you're doing what's called material participation with the direct ownership, where you could actually use your losses from the real estate to set off active income. But with real estate syndications, it is still possible to get some of the tax benefits. But of course, when you're investing, you're hoping and look to make money in the end. So many times, once the syndication sells and you get your final money, then you're still going to end up paying taxes. It's a lot harder to do what's called a 1031 exchange with a syndication. It's much easier to do that when you're doing purchasing entire properties on your own. So there you have it. There's some, pros and cons of investing in syndications. So, one question people might ask is, well, if I want to invest in real estate, why don't I just invest in a REIT that's on the stock market? And the reason why is, a REIT is in a way a syndication, but it's a publicly traded company as opposed to a privately traded company. And in order to be a publicly traded, there is a lot of regulation and rules that you have to follow through the SEC. And so all the costs that are involved in doing all those filings actually takes a hit on the actual profits that there are. So when you invest in a syndication, like it is not registered with the SEC, and so by not having to do all that paper registration, then you have more profits because you're not spending all that money for that. But at the same time, you don't have that regulation that the SEC provides. So that potentially does add to your risk, which is why it's even more important that you do your own due diligence and really know who you're investing with. So REITs tend to actually follow the stock market much more so than real estate does by being traded on the stock market. And so when you invest in syndications independent of the SEC and REITs, you can actually have a more non-correlated asset to the stock market. And really one of the things that you want to try with investing is having different assets that aren't correlated to each other. So that's why people buy like stocks and bonds, because the idea is that stocks and bonds aren't 100% correlated. So stocks can go up and bonds may go up or down. They're not dependent on each other. So the more different uncorrelated assets you can own, the smoother the ride for your portfolio is going to be. So hope you found that information helpful. If you'd like to learn more about syndications, again, I do recommend the Hands-Off Investor book by Brian Burke. If you'd like to talk more about different kind of vehicles for investing, and you can always set up a consultation call with me at growyourwealthymindset.com. I look forward to talking to you. Thank you.